This lesson on valid framework is one that's extremely important, but also one that you should spend a lot of time with. Watch this video multiple times, practice in your charts, because it's an extremely important skill that you're going to continue to build over time. But this lesson will give you the basis of knowledge that you need to start applying it in your trading. Valid framework starts on the higher time frames here on the daily. That's always where you want to begin. You open your charts, immediately go to the daily time frame. Other than that, we can refine it down if needed to the H4 or the H1. These are our other hourly time frames that we can use to get a more clear perspective on price if necessary. On these higher time frames, you're looking for areas in the market where potential trades exist, areas in the market to trade away from. That's really the basis of what we're doing here, and it starts with understanding what a relevant swing is. Each valid framework will include a relevant swing in one way or another, so it's important to understand what I'm about to show you here. This is the process that I would follow when I'm looking for relevant swings in the market. Let's take this day, for example. Forgetting about this candle here, let's say we are in this day here and we're looking for relevant swings. Where does opportunity exist in this market? And you always want to look left. And your understanding of failure swings is what's going to get you buy in this, because we understand we're not worried about failure swings. We're worried about that highest high and that lowest low. So this is the logic that I'm going to use here. Looking left from this daily candle here, is this next low relevant? No, because it is just a failure swing to this next low over here. Same goes with this low. Is this low relevant? Would I mark that out? No, because it is just another failure swing to this low here. Now, when I get to this low, I'm calling it relevant because when I look left again, this is not a failure swing to another low on this daily time frame. This is where that separation piece comes into play. There's enough distance from this next low, and I keep trailing my eyes. Remember, this low is not relevant because it's a failure swing to this low. This low is not relevant because it's a failure swing to this low, and that is the lowest low. So this is the next relevant swing, and there's enough separation between the two where I can differentiate between them and keep them separate. This is one relevant low, and this is the next relevant low. This is where I would mark my attention, and I understand a trade opportunity exists here. This example here shows invalid separation between two potential relevant swings. Looking left, you can make the assumption that this is a relevant high that you can mark out and frame a potential trade off of. But when we manipulate that high on this candle here, this would not be valid to trade away from, because this high just becomes another failure swing to this high. This high is just another failure swing to this high. This is the true relevant swing because it's the highest high. It's not a failure swing to anything else to the left. That is where your understanding comes into play. If it's just another failure swing to another high to the left or another low to the left, it's not the relevant swing, and you need enough separation. So when that is ran out, it doesn't just become another failure swing. Now that you have that understanding, we can move on to another example. Starting at candle 1, this is where you'll be looking left, understanding, is there a potential opportunity? Where does that exist in the market? Looking left from candle 1, we would see that candle 3 is not a relevant swing because it is a failure swing to this high to the left. This high is a relevant extreme, so there's nothing to the left of it that would be considered another failure swing. So this is the highest high that I would be focused on. Something running that out, I could frame a reversal there or a potential breakout. I'm looking left for something as a relevant low. This low is not relevant because it's a failure swing to this low. This low is not relevant because it's a failure swing to this low. And this low, of course, is not relevant because it's just a failure swing to this low here. Now, when we get to this point, there is that separation piece that we come to again. There is a lot of separation to this next low where I can consider this the next relevant extreme of lows. That's where my focus would be, because the market would have to go to one of these 2 points before I have a trade opportunity, and I would look for reactions at those areas. There are 2 valid frameworks that we're always looking for, and the first here is a close proximity swing. This is when a new day is opening near that next relevant swing, where it only has to create a small opposing run or a small wick on that daily candle to make a run into it, and then reverse and expand in the opposing direction. We understand that opportunity can exist here. If a daily profile would align, it acts in the way we want, that can offer a trade opportunity. Now, we do this and we concern the small wicks because expansion days open near the low and close at the high when bullish. and open near the high and close at the low when bearish. So they make very small opposing runs in that initial wick on the daily candle. That's the signature we look for in expansions. We're focused on trading daily expansions. So when it's a reversal, we want that small wick. That's why we're concerned about close proximity. This would be an example here where it dips down into that relevant swing low and then can expand to the upside. Now, you don't have to trade reversal days if you're not yet comfortable with it. You can always wait for that reversal to be confirmed, the daily candle to close, watch that reaction, and then just focus on the continuation day. The second type of valid framework is when there's already a confirmed protected swing in the market from a previous day, and you're simply trading the continuation away from that point. All you have to be concerned with is the opposing draw still valid, or am I still in respect to that expansion rule? So I'm trading into the opposing draw, but I'm also concerned with I can only trade 3 consecutive expansion days in a row, and that's all you have to be concerned with. And I just briefly mentioned an opposing draw, and this is extremely simple. It is ideal to be trading away from a protected swing and the opposing draw being failure swings. That's just by nature the easiest condition to trade into. There will be times where you're trading away from a protected swing and into an old protected swing. That can be done, but it's always ideal for the opposing draw to be failure swings like this here. Like I said, spend some time with this lesson, go through it multiple times. It may seem a bit overwhelming at first if it doesn't immediately click, but if you just think about what failure swings are, enough separation, you'll start to see the logic behind where these opportunities exist. And then after that, it's just your daily profile confirmation, which we're going to get to in the next section.